Hello, everybody. The worm is here. And we're back in the midst of our third school trial. Class trial, excuse me. And, We've reached the, as I said, the intermission. And where are we? What was the conclusion of the first half of this trial? I have to think about that for a second. I believe our conclusion as a class was essentially the idea that Hiyoko was killed first, and that the killer was on the outside of the music venue by the time everyone got there. Current suspects, well, it's kind of up in the air at this point, considering the fact that the times of death are unknown now. It was originally Kaz and Sonia, but that is no longer the case. Gundam seems to be... He acted strangely defensive when at a certain part of the trial. What was that? What was the particular thing? It was the... I think it was on the timing, right? He was opposed to the idea that Hiyoko died first, and we had to show him the blood on the shoes and on the stage but he acted strangely defensive during that. Could be nothing. But it harkens back to Peko in the second trial, who, suddenly popped up with a rebuttal. I don't think they're going to make every culprit do a rebuttal. I mean, we had Mahiru do a rebuttal in the first trial, but it's just a strange... It's his demeanor more than anything that kind of raises his suspicion level, I suppose. But let's jump back into this. I don't remember specifically where we left off. We have Monomi here. She's gonna say something. I'm not sure what. Nekomaru's still at a play, and I suppose he may be for the whole trial, I guess. Nagito brought up the idea of Nekomaru, but I do not know how reasonable that is. We'll just have to wait and see, I think. So, let's keep going.
Seriously, he's like the king of unreasonableness. Why did it turn out like this? We were supposed to have a fun, friendly school trip, but it turned out all bloody instead.
Complaining about Monokuma again, I see.
No, this definitely cannot be allowed. That's why I want you to remember this.
Remember what?
Everyone, do your very best. Don't lose to yourself. And don't forget to save frequently.
I was just given a prompt to at the end of last episode, Monomi. You don't have to worry. Hey guys, I'm back. What's going on? Yes, that was one thing we touched upon. The reason the killer did an imitation murder is a reason other than falsifying. Oh, is this... No. This is new. Is this... Could this be saying the idea of... No, I'm not sure. No, I'm not going to say anything.
suddenly got quiet in here.
Yeah, because I don't particularly remember how we got here at the end of the last episode. And I'm not entirely sure I have an idea for this.
Did I confuse you? If so, I wish I could die from self-loathing.
I would rather you explain yourself more.
Man, this again.
If that's the case, it would have been just dandy if they had gone ahead and killed me too. If that happened, the imitation would have been perfect. So why didn't they do that?
Monokuma said it was a rule, right?
Well, it's against the rules to kill 3 people in the first place.
That rule is too harsh. I couldn't get killed because of that.
Seriously, just shut up already! Shut up forever!
But I'm thinking about it again, and he's totally right. It feels incomplete.
Like, so is it the idea that the culprit was forced to do this for some reason? The idea I was thinking was that, like, they only meant to kill one person at first, and then, you know, through accident or through them being spotted, they had to kill another person. But that does not translate for me to then suddenly they had to imitate the movie. I don't know why they would imitate the movie in that case. So I'm not sure I understand. It can't be coincidence because there was so much forethought for it.
Because they didn't kill 3 people like the movie did? That's only because of Monokuma's rule.
It's not just that. Come on, try to remember the content of the movie. About the lion that got killed second.
That's the one Hyoko's body was imitating, right?
It was a pincushion, shot with arrows, right? Not, what if someone... Could it be that someone killed them and then another person put their bodies up like that? I don't know.
Even though we're calling it an imitation,
Yeah.
the lion was actually pinned by arrows, right?
Yes.
But Hyoko's body was suspended by common household duct tape. Maybe they just used a common substitute because it was too difficult to imitate the arrows. Well, that's probably it, but that attitude is what makes this feel incomplete. If falsifying the murder sequence was the killer's plan from the very beginning, they should have taken steps to properly imitate it.
Yeah, because like the stuff with the curtains and the video recording and the whole obscuring the pillar with the wallpaper, like there was some real planning. So I get what she's saying. It would seem strange for them to do all that planning and yet not account for that.
But if we never realized it was a half-assed imitation, their entire plan would have been completely useless.
What are you trying to say? Are you saying the imitation wasn't planned?
I'm saying Hyoko's murder wasn't.
So yes, this is something I did mention. I mentioned a couple times, I think. It was and I just mentioned it a second ago, where so Ibuki was the target, but then Hyoko, who at the suggestion of Sonia, walked into the music venue and saw something she shouldn't have, and so the culprit had to kill her too. Yes, so I did. The only issue I can't think of an answer to is why do all that stuff with Hyoko? Why tie her up? And like they should have. hid her, why take down the wallpaper? What was... I get what she's saying here, and it's something I've thought. I don't know what the next step is.
What?
Yeah, Hiyoko walked in on what was going on.
I understand that imitation wasn't enough, but aren't you making a
Man,
bunch
Sonia-
of assumptions?
Sonia is gonna feel terrible about this.
It's not just the poor imitation. There are also other strange details.
Strange details? Like what?
Like, for example, why did Ryoko go to the music venue?
Oh, did we not tell you? Sonia, we know.
So, you're saying the truth behind Hyoko's murder is hidden?
I have no freaking clue what you're trying to say.
No, we know
However,
this.
is getting quite interesting. My 4 dark devas of destruction are getting riled up.
No, we know why. This is very simple. So, wait, do we not have a... I thought we had a specific truth bullet. Yeah, we have this. Why do we not have that truth bullet? Okay, let's just play along for
Go
now.
to the music venue? There's no way we'd know that!
Maybe the killer summoned her.
If that's not it, maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
Yes.
Or she was guided by the will of causality.
Why did Hyoko go to the music venue?
Oh, do we have
No way we'd
the...
know that!
Maybe the killer summoned her.
Where is...
If that's not it, maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
Or she was guided by the will of causality.
It's Sony's, but I don't know how to agree with it. I don't know...
Why did Hyoko go to the music
There's no
venue?
orange,
There's no way
right?
we'd know that!
Maybe the killer summoned her.
No, there's no...
If that's not it, maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
Okay, I need to scrap the...
Or she was guided by the will of causality.
So which... It's not that. Maybe the motel room key? That could do it. Not that. Not that. Not that. Not that. Okay, I guess it's motel key on Sonia's, right?
Why did Hyoko
Okay.
go to the music? There's no way we'd know.
Maybe the killer summoned her.
If that's not it, maybe she got abducted by the killer.
No, maybe. She went of her own free will.
I agree
There we
with
go.
that.
Okay. That was a bit confusing, but I got it.
It's just as Sonia said. She went to the music venue of her own free will.
So, exactly as I assumed.
Man, Cook, Sonia, you got someone killed. How does that make you feel? I say that in jest. But yeah, she probably actually feels pretty terrible.
If no one called for her, then why did she go?
Yoko locked herself in her room because she was being overly cautious of the despair disease, you know?
Tell him, Sonia. You, so this is gonna suck, but you're gonna have to tell him.
I don't think a person like that would leave their room just because someone called for them.
There's no way she got abducted?
Hyoko locked the room she was staying in before she went out.
If she was forcibly taken from her room, There's no way she would have had time to lock it.
The killer could have locked her door, right? Just to hide the fact Hiyoko got abducted.
Then they couldn't have hidden her room key that deep in her kimono. They would have put it somewhere more obvious.
I don't know about that, but okay.
Otherwise, there's no point in messing with the crime scene if nobody finds the key.
I guess.
At the time, you were the one who actually took out the key, right? Then something like that...
I won't move.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Are you saying my gut was wrong?
Yes.
This will be my first and last highlight of the day. Why won't you just let me shine already?
Akane, we could all die here. Come on.
No! That's not the issue.
Shut up! Enough with your fancy talk. I'll shut you up right now.
Okay, we're doing this. Sonya's account.
Hiyoko was locked inside her room, right? She definitely got abducted as the killer forced their way into Hiyoko's room. Forcibly abducted her! The girl is so small and weak looking. And that's why the killer targeted her.
I can't back down! But Hiyoko's room was locked. The key was deep inside her kimono, remember? It's more likely that Hiyoko locked the door herself.
The killer was the one who locked the door! So what if the key was in her kimono? Maybe the killer just put it there later!
I can't back down!
Okay, we're doing it. We're doing it.
There's no reason for the killer to put the key in Hiyoko's kimono. The killer probably didn't realize she even had the key.
Hold on! Try remembering Hiyoko's body. Her kimono, there's only one reason her kimono would be
crap.
that messed up. She fought the killer!
Allow me to cut through those words!
Oh, there were two. Interesting.
The reason Hiyoko's kimono was messed up was because
I
she
wonder-
wasn't able to properly wear it.
I wonder if there were two orange statements there. I wonder if I could have cut either of them, or if I just accidentally did this correctly.
Wear her kimono?
Yeah, it's also the reason why she decided to go out on her own.
Kyoko seemed to be really struggling with wearing her kimono. I believe that was one of the reasons she locked herself in her room.
Well, don't show me
That
this
is why I
again.
informed her.
Ah,
I told her that there was a full-length mirror at the music venue, and I suggested that she use it.
Then the reason her kimono was messed up wasn't because she fought the killer.
Yeah, she went to the venue on her own just to fix her messed up kimono.
I get it. I lost. Boil me, burn me, take off my clothes. Do whatever you want to me.
no.
Hajime, now's your chance. Make her admit defeat.
Kaz.
Or better yet, make her do a little something
Not.
something.
Not. Come on, man. Hell no, indeed. Not the time.
Then, the killer probably couldn't have assumed that Hiyoko would go to the music venue.
Though that may not apply to Sonya, since she provided Hiyoko with that information.
Yes, this does somewhat implicate her.
Though I knew she would go there, there is no way I could have predicted when she would arrive.
True. Although, you know, we were talking about a conversation you're the only witness to. So, you know, maybe she told you when she'd go or something.
Don't go doubting Miss Sonya, you cretin. I'll put you and your hamsters 6 feet under.
Kazuichi, it seems you have quite the fashion sense. Do you want me to incinerate your clothes? Perhaps I could do that while you're wearing them.
Gundam, please stop! For his sake!
Huh? What do you mean, for my sake?
Of course. I've already overlooked no less than 10 opportunities to kill you.
What is happening right now?
Even if the killer couldn't predict it, why did Hiyoko get killed in the music venue?
Because most likely the culprit was there killing Ibuki.
The only thing I can think of is, it was an unfortunate coincidence.
Coincidence?
When she went to the venue by herself, She was probably just unlucky and walked in on the crime scene.
Man, poor Hiyoko. This is 2 times now she's been, you know, forced to walk in. Well, not forced, but inadvertently walked into a crime scene.
She was killed so there wouldn't be any loose ends?
This picture in the last one with Hiyoko it just sucks to look at.
It probably happened when the killer was preparing to kill Ibuki. The killer most likely had already placed the hemp bag over her head, and without hesitation,
Killed Hiyoko.
because the killer used that coincidence for their crime, it made this case even trickier.
That's the reason they imitated the movie to falsify the murder sequence.
But why? I don't understand why, though. Is it just to make things confusing so that it's difficult to figure out, you know, when people died, and just make it difficult to tell, you know, when and who and where and that sort of thing? I guess that's the answer, right? Rather than just killing them and having them, you know, be there. Specifically imitate the movie to throw everyone off on the clues, I guess. I guess that makes sense. It's not clicking that easily for me, but I guess that's the reason.
Which means that low-down scoundrel didn't plan on committing imitation murders at first.
Then what was the killer actually planning to do?
Make it just seem like a suicide, I guess.
They've been cunning this far. There's no way they'd kill Ibuki without a plan. Do you have any idea?
Damn, we don't know the most important part.
I think this is the idea, just throwing this out there, that the culprit was trying to take advantage of Ibuki's gullibility disease, and so told her to, or was tricking her into killing herself or something. And then, if they had been successful, if Hiyoko hadn't wandered in, they could, either there wouldn't be a class trial, and, you know, then the culprit would know, okay, getting someone to commit suicide doesn't count, or it would count, and there'd be much less there to implicate the culprit if it did count as a murder, I guess. I'm not sure if I made sense there, but...
Hey, Nagito, any ideas?
Hey, how long are you gonna stay quiet?
Yeah, but you guys told me to stay quiet.
Oh, am I allowed to speak?
Yeah.
I'm so happy I'm getting goosebumps. Everyone actually needs help from scum like me.
So what do you think?
I was thinking about it while I had my mouth shut. But now I'm finally able to come to a conclusion. Ibuki definitely didn't commit suicide.
Okay.
Huh? What are you talking about?
I thought there might be a possibility that she faked her death and tampered with the crime scene. But now I remember. There was blood on Ibuki's slippers.
Yes.
So if she faked her death and walked around the music venue tampering with the crime scene...
Yeah.
There'd be bloody footprints left in various places throughout the venue.
Okay.
So that's why I think there's no way she faked her death. There's no way Ibuki committed suicide.
Okay.
You know, we already finished talking about that a while ago.
Huh? Really?
Yeah, we're more on Hiyoko now.
That's annoying. I guess I should just awkwardly laugh about it then.
Are you freaking kidding me? There's no limit to how useless you can be.
Oh, is Nagito trying to throw us off?
That's strange. very strange.
This is strange? What's strange?
But the blood was wiped up, right? Someone tried to wipe it up? So they could have just wiped up the footprints too? I'm probably overlooking something too here. On the stepladder.
I can prove it with this. If Ibuki used the stepladder to hang herself, it's strange that there weren't any footprints on it.
I guess you could say, well, the killer could have wiped it, but then why didn't they wipe the side of it? Because there's blood on the side of it. So the conclusion is that Ibuki never went up the stepladder. She was just strangled.
Huh? There weren't?
Yeah, that stepladder was completely clean. No footprints or bloodstains at all.
Did you notice such a small detail? How amazing! This is truly the talent of a chosen ultimate!
What are you talking about? You were obviously leading us to this. That's why you brought up the suicide topic after all this time. Nagito Komaeda. You're definitely someone I shouldn't underestimate.
But didn't you say you saw that video of Ibuki climbing the stepladder?
We need to eventually get to the idea that that video was not what we thought it was.
Then I think there's no doubt that she really did climb it.
Unless there was something funny about that
Yep.
video.
I'm glad you're always, well, pretty much always on top of it, Chiaki.
I see. So there was some kind of trick arranged in that video,
But that's something only Hajime would know, since he's the only one who saw that video.
Yes, it comes down to that. Yes, it is. Conference room. It's all up to you, Hajime. And by extension, me. And I think I know.
Hajime, I leave it in your hands.
Thank you, Sonia.
As long as I leave this to you, I won't tell you to do your best, but oh well. You should get started already.
Well, you could tell me to do my best.
Yeah, I'll definitely try.
No, there is no try, only do. Something strange. The stepladder could be it. There's no blood on it. Let's just start with the obvious. There was no blood on the side.
Here!
Hey,
That's right, I remember now. There
got
was
it in one,
definitely
baby.
something strange about that video.
Got it in one.
Can you explain it to us?
What's strange is that stepladder I mentioned earlier.
And there were 2 stepladders, and I know because I went back and checked on my previous recordings that there were definitely 2 stepladders in the storage room.
It's true that the steps of that stepladder weren't dirty, but on one side, there was a bloodstain, right on the left side of the stepladder. However, that contradicts the video I saw at the hospital. There weren't any bloodstains on the stepladder in the video. It was completely clean.
That is truly strange. If the video showed the moment of Ibuki's death, then Hiyoko should have already been dead by that point.
Even so, the fact is the stepladder had blood on it at the actual crime scene. But the stepladder in the video was completely bloodless.
And there's no way the video was recorded in advance. If that's the case, the only thing I can think of is...
It was a live stream of somewhere else.
It's possible those 2 stepladders were completely different.
Yes,
Wait, are you saying there were 2 stepladders?
there were in fact 2 stepladders for Yukiko.
But where would you find another stepladder? There was only one stepladder in the music video.
That is not true. That is objectively not
Then
true.
one of the stepladders was somewhere other than the music
Well, it was
venue.
taken to the... It was taken to the conference room.
What do you mean?
You're suggesting But the stepladder in the video isn't the only thing that's different.
The hand
Am I right?
bag.
That's amazing, Chiaki. All that gaming has given you incredible deduction skills. Is it okay to say that?
I guess it's okay to say that, but maybe don't go saying it again.
What are you two talking about?
Yep. Yes. Okay. What is the exact question? What's the difference between the video I saw and the actual crime scene? Location? No. What am I meant to say here? Filming location. Sometimes these are a bit obscure. I need an eye, please. Okay. Oh, dang it. I didn't mean to do that. Thank you for the tea. I need to know. Oh, please. There we go. We got it.
I got it!
We got it.
That's right. Besides the stepladder, the filming location must have been different too.
What do you mean?
I mean, the video I saw was not filmed at the music venue.
And I could tell you precisely where it is.
It was filmed somewhere else.
Conference room. And I'm sure Chiaki must be...
But the hospital
Must
monitor
have an
is supposed
inkling.
to display footage captured by the music venue camera, you know?
Yeah, and we cannot confirm that that is the camera that's at the music venue because it's smashed.
Then, there's a possibility that the killer also tampered with the surveillance camera unit.
There were more than just those two, right? Oh, we're doing this again. Okay. Speeder skills do not let me down now. I'm not precisely sure what the questions on this will be. Ooh, okay. Oh, okay. I don't know what those one yellow squares. I'm not. What do these yellow squares do? Whoa, hang on. Both of them. No! The camera. The camera? I'm not... not the monitor. I'm not sure I understand precisely. I don't get it. I'll look at the I can look at the questions at the end, right? Did the killer tamper with the camera at the music venue or the hospital? The music venue? The ones at the hospital was still there, right? Yeah. I'm not that. I'm not that incompetent, right? Here we go. Let's get in there. What did the killer do to the camera from the music venue? Took it with them? If they increased the signal, that would be like Kaz or something. Okay, was the smashed stuff... Was the smashed camera and monitor there when Hajime got there? They just took it with them. Yeah. I don't think there's anything crazy here. I think I understand. Basically, I think I understand the basics.
That's it. The killer just brought the camera from the music video.
Yeah. I just don't get the smashing of it part. The where is it? This. When did this happen? Or it could be that they got another camera and hid the other one.
With it, they made me think it was a live feed from the venue, when it was actually from somewhere else.
Then only the monitor was left in the music venue?
Yes, at least when I first discovered Ibuki's body.
Yeah, see, like I can't remember the state of it.
But when Hyoko's body appeared, the killer probably put the camera there too.
Gotcha. That was my question.
That means you should have realized that from the start and made this easier on all of us.
You know what? Fair enough, Akane. I didn't notice that, and I didn't notice the pillar shrinking magically. So, you know, you got me.
He did discover the body. I doubt his attention was focused on the camera.
Well, that's true, but in order to hide that the camera was missing, the killer did one more thing to the remaining monitor.
What? Smash it? Yeah.
I see!
That's obvious.
The killer smashed the monitor to pieces, destroying it. As long as it was in pieces, you wouldn't be able to tell if the camera was actually there or not. My attention was so focused on the body that even I couldn't have noticed something like that.
And the moment Hajime left the music venue, the killer put back the camera they took.
And then did the whole thing with the wallpaper and Hyoko.
And they destroyed it and left that in pieces as well.
It's
I
easy
see
to
now,
say
yeah.
it was filmed somewhere else, but the surveillance camera's connection wasn't that strong.
Despite Kazuichi's desperate repair efforts, it seems it could not transmit from the hospital to the motel.
But it could transmit from the hospital to the hospital.
The fact that it was able to connect between the hospital and the music venue is amazing enough.
I know the answer. Yes, it is. Oh, another one. Okay, conference room. The answer is conference room. Here we go. Oh, dang it. Confer. Confer. I need an A, please. Or is it an A? Hey. I got it. Confirm. I can spell. I speak English. See, please. Conference. Room. MPs. There we go. Conference room.
I got it!
Very simple.
Possible that
Here's the
it was
thing.
filmed at the hospital's conference room.
I still don't know. I feel like I don't entirely know who the culprit is. Like, Gundam is just, it's like circumstantial. Well, not even that. It's just his demeanor, and that's not evidence. I'm just not sure yet.
Huh? Conference room?
But the hospital and the music venue look completely different.
That's exactly why the killer did something to make those two
They
places
put up
resemble
the
each other.
curtains. Yes. Show me curtains. Yes. Music venue curtain. Let's go.
There's no way the conference room and the music venue look the same.
Which place resembled the other? Did the conference room look like the music venue?
Wait. Can I sneak it in there? No? Okay.
Damn it!
Sorry.
There's no way the conference
I jumped the gun.
room and the music venue look the same.
Which place resembled the other? Did the conference room look like the music venue? Or did the music venue look like the conference room?
There we go.
That must be it!
Consent. Boy, do I love consent.
What the killer did was make the music venue, the crime scene, look like the conference room.
Yes.
They did that by using the black curtain hanging at the back of the stage.
Which apparently they
From
got
what I
from the...
remember, there used to be a really flashy curtain, but after the incident,
Who'd even think about that? Where in the supermarket is a giant curtain? Why would they have that?
somehow became a plain
Is that a
black
thing
curtain that didn't seem to
supermarkets
be the right
have?
size.
That's like a furniture store thing, right? Or, I don't know. I guess I don't shop enough at supermarkets.
That's right! It's so half-assed, just like Monami.
Oof.
Oh yeah? Well, your face looks stupid.
Got him.
That curtain was hung so the music venue would look like the conference room? In
Yes.
actuality, even though the curtain in the conference room doesn't stand out, it is a black light-blocking curtain that's long enough to reach the floor.
So it is.
I see. The conference room. Indeed, the floor of that room is
Wooden.
the same color as the music venue stage.
Well, I didn't really notice that, but sure.
So the killer chose the conference room because they realized the floor matched.
I thought they chose because of the curtain, but okay.
Matching floors, matching curtains. I guess it makes sense you'd mistake the two.
But that's not all. There should be something else the killer did to tamper with the evidence. Probably.
The candle? Let's just throw it out.
I can prove it with this.
Oh yeah, got it.
You're referring to the candle in the music video, right? In the video I saw, a candle was used for lighting. But if you think about it, that's pretty strange.
Yes, why did they not use the baton
The
lighting?
music venue has good lighting, so there's no reason to even use candlelight.
But wouldn't they have done it to make it feel creepy?
Yes, because all murderers are very concerned about atmosphere when they murder.
That might have been another reason, but The main reason was probably to tamper with evidence. The lighting in the conference room and the music venue are so different. They couldn't be used during filming. That's why the killer used a candle as film lighting instead.
Which means... Are you saying the candle in the music venue wasn't actually used?
Doesn't look like it.
That candle was likely placed there just to make me think it was the same candle that was used in the video.
With candlelight, you can't see things in that much detail. Maybe they were going for that effect. With that cheap-ass camera, it won't capture much in a dark area.
As long as this all matches up, it should be no problem to say this is decided. The video I saw wasn't filmed at the music venue. It was actually filmed at the hospital conference
There we
room.
go. So, where does that leave us?
If I'd found proof that evidence in the conference room was altered, we would have reached an answer sooner.
It's okay. We got there.
But it appears the killer already covered that up, so I didn't find anything when I went there.
Oh, you mean knowing at the time?
But there's no mistake. That's the only place within the connection range of the surveillance camera.
The motel would have been too far, and the interior design of the movie theater is too distinctive.
But this must be a surprising turn of events for Hajime.
Why?
You never suspected that the video you saw in the hospital was being filmed in the conference room.
I suspected it.
The incident isn't happening at the scene of a crime. It's occurring in the conference room.
I feel like I've heard Bayside Cops say that before, but isn't it the other way? Sorry, this is going over my head. What?
If Ibuki's hanging video was filmed at the hospital's conference room, then was Ibuki killed at the conference room too?
No, I don't think so.
No, that's not possible. Right after Hajime saw that video, he discovered Ibuki's body at the music venue.
The Ibuki in the conference room.
I see!
That's the killer, the culprit.
The person wearing the hint bag in that video wasn't Ibuki.
Yeah.
It was the killer pretending to be Ibuki. The killer put on a hospital gown, wore a hint bag on their head, and was only pretending.
Because we know there's two of each of those. There are 2 step ladders, technically 4 hospital gowns, and 2 hemp bags.
By that time, the real Ibuki must have already been killed.
The actual time of death must have been earlier. Probably around midnight or dawn to avoid witnesses.
If they took Ibuki from the music venue to the hospital to kill her, there's no way it happened during the day.
Gundam's been real quiet lately. So that's what happened. And no matter how quickly I ran, it was impossible for me to rescue Ibuki. At that moment, I was already in the killer's trap. And the one who set that trap for me was...
But why did the killer go to the trouble of making a fake video just so Hajime could go to the crime scene?
Perhaps to try and get suspicion on him.
The reason the killer made a fake video. There's only one possibility I can think of. If I examine that possibility thoroughly, then naturally the killer's identity will reveal itself.
Nah, I'm not sure about this. No, I'm not doubting Hajime's line of reasoning. I'm doubting my... I'm not sure, personally, what the angle is here.
Huh?
You fiend! Are you saying you already know who the killer is?
Come on, Gundam. Oh man, I'm actually not sure. Like, he's the...
Crap!
No. How could it be? I really don't know. I'm actually not sure, guys. Oh man. Kaz? No. I'm going through just the obvious ones. Wouldn't be her.
Crap!
This trial's beating me, man. I don't know. Not me, kind of. It wouldn't be her, would it?
Crap!
Man. Who's left? It's not Nagito. It can't be.
Damn it!
I'm
You're the only one!
Really?
You're the killer, aren't you?
Really? Huh. I...
What are you talking about?
Like I said, aren't you the killer who murdered Ibuki and Hyoko?
Killer? Huh? I'm the killer? What is this?
Hey, don't you think that's kinda impossible? A chick like her as the killer? She couldn't even kill a fly. In fact, the fly would probably kill her first.
She's right! A clumsy slowpoke like me killing someone? That's completely out of the question!
But we're the only ones. Thanks to that video, we're the only ones who have the advantage of an alibi.
An alibi? Was that the killer's goal?
Now that you mention it, you guys brought that up earlier. Only Hajime and Mikan have an alibi.
It's just a coincidence!
But you're the only one who could have filmed that video in the hospital conference room. Is that also a coincidence? At that time, you said you were going to the on-call room, but you actually went to the conference room.
Makes sense. I didn't make the connection. The fact that it was a live feed. And the fact that Hajime was in the hospital. And so, I did not make that connection at all.
That's when you put on a hospital gown that you prepared in advance, put the bag on your head, and began filming. By doing that, you made up a video that showed Ibuki trying to hang herself at the music video. And showed that to me.
I didn't even consider the idea that Hajime and Mikan were the only two with alibis. And the fact that, yeah, Mikan would have gone upstairs after Hajime left.
Furthermore, I saw that video at the hospital lobby. If someone wants to go to the conference room from outside, they have to pass through the lobby.
So it's impossible that someone who wasn't already in the hospital went to the conference room to film.
Well, I don't know if it's impossible. Someone could have gone by us while we were in the room with Nagito, I guess. Or was waiting in there from before. I don't think it's impossible, but maybe unlikely.
Not only that, the others in the hospital, Akane and I, were both delirious from the despair disease.
So that must mean...
Please, wait a second! What are you saying? I'm the killer?
I don't want to believe it. But the pieces are there.
That's impossible! There's no way I could kill someone!
It's not literally impossible. Can't you give a better defense than that?
He has a point.
Just shows she can't even do that.
Hey, you sure this chick is really the killer?
Wrong! It's totally wrong! It's not what you think!
And what is it?
Just like Akane said, it is really hard to tie it all together. I mean, Nikon is the killer?
Yeah, it is hard to...
I agree. It is truly difficult to believe someone could be killed by such a slow-witted woman.
I wouldn't say slow-witted.
That slow-witted remark is not necessary.
Yeah.
It's fine. I've been like this for a long time. In a tournament for socials punching bags, I'd easily win first place with my soft reputation. Even I can't deny that. How many times do I have to tell you? It's impossible for me to kill someone. I'm serious. Very serious.
Yeah, but that's not a very good defense right now.
What do you say, Hajime?
Do you still believe this woman is the killer?
I don't know who else it could be.
Do you hate me that much, Hajime?
Well, maybe if you killed those two for real.
Hey, Hajime!
Everyone's getting up on me. Tricks aside, logic aside, is she really capable of doing something like this? I'm not sure. Could it be I'm the one making a mistake? No, in fact, it'd be so much easier if I was wrong. If I have this much doubt about someone I've spent so much time with.
Can you hold on a minute?
Oh, okay. Huh?
Well, I know I'm being intrusive and all, and I mean, I have no place to say this. I missed all of the critical parts, and I doubt I have anything worth saying at an important time like this.
What are you saying?
But still, there's definitely no way I can overlook the killer this time.
You did say something about that, like early on in the investigation. I'm curious what you're saying.
I thought it was suspicious all along, from the very beginning. Investigating with the suspect in mind creates a different result than investigating with no leads.
Hey, what are you trying to say?
Well, thanks to that, I was able to discover a truth that nobody else knows.
Are you serious?
Yeah, are you serious? What are you saying?
I've been so focused on everybody else this trial. But I guess now's a good time to say it, right?
I guess, because we're about to vote.
You'd better not have kept quiet on purpose. This isn't a game, you know.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a game!
Yeah.
Please don't say such controversial statements.
Well, what do you know, Nagito?
Well, it's nothing big, really. Only a small, decisive clue that points to
Yes.
the killer.
Small, decisive clue, yep.
Dang! That's a huge deal!
A decisive clue. Does something like that really exist?
Let's take a look, shall we? Regarding the rope Ibuki was dangling from.
Yes. He did bring this up.
This rope was supplied by the supermarket, right? There weren't any ropes inside the music venue.
Again with the supermarket? That place is a hotspot for criminal goods.
If they got
Apparently.
it at the supermarket, that means it was brand new, right?
Yes.
What's wrong with that?
I want you to take a close look at this rope. And keep in mind that it's brand new. Near the middle of the rope, it's frayed, as if it was rubbed strongly. But
Okay.
why is it like this? The loopy Bookie used to hang herself is on one end of the rope, and the part of the rope that hung from the baton lighting is on the other end.
Hey, you're taking too long. What's wrong with the rope being frayed?
It means, well, from what I can infer, I think the rope was used like this.
Was she strangled with the rope first and then it was tied into a noose later? Yeah.
The killer wrapped the rope around Ibuki's neck, pulled both ends at full strength, and strangled her.
Is the idea that this person had to be really strong to do this, and Mikan's not that strong?
The center of the rope is frayed because that's the part they used to strangle Ibuki.
God, that's brutal.
Don, I've been listening to you for a while, and it sounds like you knew about this rope clue all along. What exactly did you say to me
So
during
what would
the
that
investigation?
what would that be? Nekomaru or what? Akane? But Akane was indisposed. Is the reason Nagito's upset is because it's Nekomaru, but Monokuma has kept him away?
Not everyone cooperates at a class trial. Those who lie and conceal the truth will obviously be here too.
But that couldn't be Nekomaru because the person in the film was obvious. It would have been obvious it was him.
Just like this case's killer. I was just copying them a little bit.
More importantly, what was all that about the rope? The killer strangled Ibuki. And then?
And then, I finished speaking.
How is that a decisive clue?
Huh? You didn't notice it? I thought I made the decisive clue very clear.
Oh man.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
Yeah.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know. Obviously, we'd assume it was a hanging.
The Monokuma file complicates this too. It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Whoever misunderstood is to blame!
Oh boy.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Oh dang
Though
it.
hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
So
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know. Obviously, we'd assume it was a hanging.
The Monokuma file complicates this too. It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Whoever misunderstood is to blame!
I'm gonna start throwing things out here.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem, the scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burn?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
No.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
Crap!
Okay, hang
Ibuki
on.
didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Because of the
Did we
AC?
fall for someone's lie?
No.
Crap!
Ibuki didn't die from. She was strangled.
That's basically the...
Though hanging and the scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the...
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
No.
Crap!
Ibuki didn't die. She was strangled. That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, the scars they leave would look different too.
Crap!
Okay.
We will never give up.
Okay. So it's not the AC unit, clearly. Music video curtain.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
I'm thinking this might be
That's basically the same thing.
one of these things.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
Maybe this.
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging.
So there are 2 orange statements
Why
and
would
2
that
blue
be?
statements.
Did we fall for someone's lie?
No.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, the scars they leave would look different too.
Scars?
But we believed it. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know.
No.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, the scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burn, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know. Obviously, we'd assume it was a hanging.
The Monokuma file complicates this too. It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Wait. Is Monokuma file one of the things?
Whoever misunderstood is to blame.
Maybe it's on Gundam's statement.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strength, the scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime scene was hanged, you know. Obviously, we'd assume it was a...
The Monokuma file complicates this too. It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean the rope burned, right?
But we believed it was from a hanging.
But I can't say anything about the Monokuma file.
Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
The body at the crime
I
scene was
hate how
hanged, you
I have
know.
to keep scrolling in order to look at these.
Obviously, we'd assume it was a hanging.
The Monokuma file complicates this too. It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Whoever misunderstood is to blame.
Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging
gonna
and
try
strangling seem
the two
scars
orange
they leave
statements
would look
on
different too.
Gundams.
Scars?
But we believed it. Why would that be?
Did we fall for some... The body at the crime scene... Obviously, we'd...
The Monokuma file complicated. It never specified hanging or strangulation.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the
Though hanging and strength, the scars they leave...
scars.
But we believed it. Why would that be?
Did we fall for some... The body at the crime scene... Obviously, we'd...
The Monokuma file it never specified hanging or strangulation.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different. The scars they leave would look different too.
Scars? You mean
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, the scars they leave would look different too.
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging. She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, the scars they leave would look different too.
Scars?
But we believed it was from a hanging. Why would that be?
Did we fall for some... The body at the crime scene... Obviously, we'd...
The Monokuma file it never specified hanging or strangulation.
Crap! Ibuki didn't die from hanging.
Come on.
She was strangled to death.
That's basically the same thing.
Though hanging and strangling seem similar, they're very different.
Like, none of this... Okay, I can see through the menu here. Rope used. I think I'm gonna use rope on everything. Like, this can't be it. Like, can't be it, right? I think I tried AC on everything. Let's just... I think I already did this.
You
But...
mean the rope? But we believed it was. Why would that be?
Did we fall for someone's lie?
That must be it.
Is it because it said Mikon said it?
So that's what happened. We've been falling for the killer's lie this whole time.
I see.
You said Ibuki hanged herself, but that was a complete lie, wasn't it, Mikon?
I see. Okay. Yeah, I just... So I need to... When I'm not sure, I need to reread all of these. Yeah, okay. Because when I read that again, that makes sense.
That is... well...
You told us the wrong cause of death. You lied, didn't you?
You should have been able to tell the difference between hanging and strangling just by looking. You, Mikon, the ultimate nurse.
Please wait! First of all, I'm not a coroner, so I don't have the medical knowledge to identify injuries like that. That's why it's not my fault if I made a mistake. You are right. And you have been a great help to us so far.
But even a drunk medical student can notice the difference between hanging and strangulation.
I'm not taking her side or anything, but being clumsy and unskilled in this area could lead to a mistake.
He's totally right. I'm such a clumsy mess, and I got so careless.
Sorry, that whole thing is kind of derailed me a bit. But it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
Mikon nursed me till I got better. There's no way I'm gonna doubt her.
Don't you think her devotion to nursing is what helped her draw Ibuki to her death?
Huh?
And if not, her symptoms were still very serious and caused her to believe what anybody told her.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of.
It wouldn't surprise me if she willingly followed Mikon because she was nursing her.
So Mikon volunteered to nurse us? Because she was planning to do this all along?
That's a little... Aren't you like the thief who suspects everyone else of being thieves?
I'm not a criminal. Mikon is. I mean, she's a killer, you know.
You've got it all wrong. Please forgive me.
I'm sorry, but there's no way I can forgive you. I just can't forgive this crime at all.
Ooh, where is this coming from?
Forgiveness or not, we still have not decided if Mikon is the killer.
I see. You guys are kind. Well, if that's the choice everyone makes, then the only thing I can do is back off.
No, I want to hear the reason.
But is that really okay? Is that everyone's hope?
You're friggin' annoying! If you keep talking, I'm seriously gonna beat you up!
But I'm really not the killer.
Or is this like a whole triple, double, triple bamboozle by Nagito?
There's no way. I'm capable of killing someone.
Is that really true?
Stop it already! That's enough!
I can't stop. I don't want to do this either. Of course I don't want to do this. But I need to do this.
He's right.
You doubt your friends?
That's not it. I suspect them because I want to believe them.
What the hell does that mean?
I don't think belief and doubt are necessarily opposites.
Huh?
I do doubt her, but I still want to believe her. Belief lies at the heart of that conflict. 'Cause if there's no room for doubt, then there's no reason to believe, is there?
I think I see what you're saying.
Don't say deep stuff. I don't really get it.
If you want to believe in someone, you need to overcome doubt first. Belief without doubt is simply a lie.
This is like, to truly, like in a, maybe not ideology, but like a philosophy, like the idea is, like, would you be willing to betray your philosophy or ideology, but betray may be a mean way to say it. It's more like test it to see if it's really, because if it's something you believe, it should stand up to scrutiny, something like that. So rather than blind faith, it's more, a more sure thing to doubt first, I guess.
Fine. Do whatever you want. I won't stop you anymore.
Huh? Is that all you can say? Ah, so in the end, you're all just a bunch of bullies, huh?
Is this the real you, Mikan?
Justifying your actions with fancy words. Making excuses for why it's not really your fault. Everyone always treats me like that.
Okay, I was thrown off because of my poor performance there, but I gotta get back into the zone. And look, Mikan, I was always sympathetic to you, and I didn't like how others treated you, but being a victim of abuse does not give one leave to further abuse others, or in this case, commit crimes such as murder. So, listen, if you did this, no, you will not get my sympathy. Not anymore.
It's all her fault. She's the one with the problem.
I have no doubt that you suffered and were afflicted with all sorts of troubles because of your demeanor. But you do not get a free pass here.
I'm done with that! You hear me? I'm done!
I can see that.
Hey, Mikan!
It's not fair. It's not fair. 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 Not fair! Why won't you forgive me? If you did something wrong, you'd forgive yourself right away!
I don't know about that.
What did I do? Why won't anybody forgive me?
Well, it seems like you murdered 2 people.
Is acting like this your strategy now? Whoa, this is annoying.
I mean, she's practically admitting it. She's saying forgive. She's asking for forgiveness, as in she's admitting she did something that requires forgiveness.
Plus, to be honest, I've run out of ideas. How can we get you to admit it? That's the issue.
Technically, Nagito, she doesn't have to admit anything. We just have to vote.
If we don't have any clues, why don't we have her give us some? I'm the same as Hajime. I don't want to doubt any of my friends, but still, the truth is one of us murdered 2 of our friends.
Yes.
That's why we gotta stick with this until the very end, so we can finally break these chains of despair.
Laudable ideas here, Chiaki.
Hey Mikan, can I ask you one last thing? If you're not the killer, then who fabricated that video Hajime watched?
Like I said, it obviously
Not good enough now. We need something concrete.
Can we prove it?
Prove it?
Yes, we need something.
Do you have any proof that I'm the one who fabricated that video?
Well, it's circumstantial.
Ah, that's right! Show me your proof! Because you're just assuming the video was filmed at the was at the hospital. That's totally crazy. I didn't do anything wrong. Why does everybody always hate me? Please, just forgive me already.
Is this broad really okay? She's emotionally unstable.
Yeah, and it's kind of sad.
I'm not the killer. The video. I never filmed that video.
It seems she finally started arguing for us. But the only one who can find the hole in her argument is you, Hajime.
Wait, why?
So, I'm going to leave
Dang
this
it.
to you once again.
I didn't do well when you left it to me last time. Chiaki's goal. Oh, I see.
Why do you get to decide I'm the killer? Where's your proof? Please, forgive me already!
I need to make up my mind. I'm the one who has to do it. I'm the one who's gonna finish this. Oh no, not another one. What is Mikan's account again?
We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
Huh? Do you have any proof? Is the hemp bag on her head the proof? Is the hospital gown she was wearing suspicious? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had on?
Maybe the hemp bag?
Ibuki and Mikan clearly have different body types.
Is that really your proof? You could tell her body type under the hospital gown? Just from that video? Just from that camera angle? Just from that dim candlelight? There's no way you'd be able to make out her body type! So please forgive me already!
Hajime, pay close attention and listen well. You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
This is like... What were the three things? The hemp bag, the gown... Hang on.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody else other than you who could have filmed that video.
Huh? Do you have any proof? Is the hemp bag on her head the proof?
Ah, dang it.
Is the hospital gown she was wearing suspicious? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had on?
Ibuki and Mikan clearly...
Is that really your... You could tell her body type under the hospital gown? Just from that video? Just from that camera angle? Just from that dim candlelight? There's no way you'd be able to make out her body type!
I know I have to take
Please forgive me already!
one of those things.
Hajime, pay close attention and listen well.
I have to take one of those
You're
things
the
she
only one who
says,
can point out the killer's mistake.
and then I have to put it on here.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody else
Camera
other than
angle?
you
Was it
who
camera
could have
angle?
filmed that.
Huh? Do you have any? Is the hemp bag on her head the proof? Is the hospital gown she was wearing suspicious? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had?
Maybe camera angle?
Ibuki and Mikan clearly have different...
Is that really your proof? You could tell her body type under the hospital gown?
Just from that video? Just from that camera angle?
Give it to me. Give it to me. Why aren't you giving it to me?
Just from that dim
What was that?
candlelight?
Hang on.
There's no way you'd be so pleased for...
Hajime, you're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
Why didn't it give it to me?
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is the handbag on? Is the hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mika.
Is that really? You could tell her body type under the hospital gown? Just from that video? Just from that camera angle?
Camera angle.
Just
That's
from
my
that dim
that's my first
candlelight?
guess.
There's no way you'd be able to make out her body type! So please forgive me already!
Oh wait, no. I'm doing this
Hajime,
backwards.
Pay close attention and
I'm doing this
listen well.
backwards.
You're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
Hang on. I'm doing it backwards. I need
We
to.
can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is the handbag on? Is the hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital?
Ibuki and Mika.
Is that really? You could tell her body just from that.
There's no way you'd be so pleased for...
Hajime, you're the only one who can point out the killer's mistake.
I need to do that.
I'm not the killer!
We can't think of anybody who could have filmed that.
Huh? Is the handbag on? Is the hospital gown? Or could it be the hospital slippers she had?
Ibuki and Mikon clearly have different
Or it's
body
the
types.
slippers.
Is that really your
That's
clue?
okay. That'll be my
You
second
could tell
one.
her body type under the hospital gown? Just from that video? Just from that camera angle?
No, I got it.
Through that contradiction.
Thank goodness.
Nikon, you've committed a major mistake.
I'm glad I'm not that much of an idiot. At least.
Mistake?
Okay, it took a bit of time on that, but not as bad as the last one.
As I said before many times, I'm the only one who saw that video.
What's wrong with that?
That I never said anything about the camera angle.
True.
So how can you say anything about the camera angle as if you saw that video yourself?
The only reason Mikon knew the camera angle Hajime had seen is because you're the person who actually filmed that video. Is that right?
This is your just reward. The more desperately you argue, the deeper you dig yourself into a hole. You lied, didn't you?
Are you serious? Is it true, Mikon? Did you kill Hiyoko and Ibuki?
Forgive me!
Huh? 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 Huh?
I think she might be broken.
I was wrong. No, that's not it at all.
That's not it?
I mean, it's impossible.
Why?
You know that hemp bag Ibuki was wearing when she died? Try remembering the tote bag instead.
Okay.
Ding! I totally remember now.
What the heck's wrong with her? She's getting weirder by the minute.
That tote bag. Isn't it the same one that girl was wearing in the video?
How do you know so much about that video?
More importantly, did you know that bag is a limited item
Mikon.
that was sold at the movie theater?
Mikon, it's over. It's over, Mikon. I already know.
Hajime saw it too, didn't? Whoopsie! Don't worry about it. I remember even if you don't. Ta-da! There's no mistake that tote bag is a limited item. So don't you think it's impossible? Using one tote bag in both the conference room and the music venue at the same time? It's blatantly obvious.
Here it is.
That's why that video isn't fabricated. And I'm not the killer. So you'll forgive me, right?
Taking your stubbornness this far. Such despair.
Then you're gonna forgive me? I won't stop until you forgive me!
Oh yeah, this was part. Reloading, that was part of it. Tab key. Hey, what? You should be able to find it beyond this point. You and I both yearn for. I don't yearn for that.
I'll keep explaining it until you forgive me! That bag is a limited item! That's why that crime is impossible for anyone to pull off.
This chick, has she lost it for good?
Will you forgive me? You'll forgive me, right? Isn't that right? You're obviously gonna forgive me, right?
At this rate, we're not getting anywhere. End it. End it, Hajime. I forgot how to do...
You still haven't forgiven me? I'll do anything you want. Please, draw on me. Do you understand? Why only me? Please, draw on me. Can you forgive me
Drawing.
already?
That's weird.
Forgive me! Forgive me! Please, draw on me! Do you understand? Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. Can you forgive me already? I'll do anything you want. You're done for! Forgive me! Forgive me! Why only me? You still haven't forgiven me? I'll do anything you want. Please, draw on me. Do you understand? Why only me? Please, draw on me. There's only one bag. It's impossible to use it in two places at the same
Wait,
time.
theater bonus price. I got it wrong.
There's only one
Theater
bag.
bonus
It's impossible to use it in
prize.
two places at-
This is the end!
Okay.
Monokuma mentioned this earlier. Whoever bought that bag should have received another one as a bonus prize. Which means it's not impossible to use that bag in two separate places. So please, just stop making desperate excuses.
Why? Why can't you forgive me? Why?
It seems her desperate struggle is finally coming to an end.
Why does everybody always hate me? You should just forgive me already!
Nikon, it's already over. After I go over your crime from the beginning and show that you have no arguments left. Please, just admit it already. In the end, at least let me believe in you.
Okay, let's just do this. I was gonna stop, but
everything that happened in this case.
That didn't feel like a lie.
The key to this incident is the surveillance camera video that only I saw. That's why I'm going to start with that to unravel the knots of this crime. When I went to the hospital with Nikon this morning, I noticed a specific thing in the lobby. The incoming signal light on the surveillance monitor was blinking ahead of the scheduled time. When I switched on the monitor, what appeared on screen was a person wearing a hospital gown and a bag on their head about to hang themselves right at that moment. That surveillance camera unit was designed for two-way communication with the hospital and the music video. That's why I thought the signal originated from the music video, so I immediately headed over there. But that was the killer's trap. In truth, that video was recorded in a different place. The killer brought the music venue camera the night before and made their preparations in advance. And then, they filmed that video in the hospital conference room. By doing so, they tried to make me think the incident was happening in real time, when in fact, the crime had already been committed by that point. The person in the footage wearing the bag was actually the killer acting as a fake. I didn't know that, so I went to the music video and found the hanged body wearing a bag on its head. Seeing the body before me, I panicked and rushed out of there to get the rest of you guys. But that was also part of the killer's trap. After cleaning the conference room, the killer was likely watching the music venue from outside and, as if they were switching places with me, and began working on their last trick. First, the killer peeled off the wallpaper covering one of the stage pillars, revealing Hyoko's body. When I first arrived and saw the hanged body, I didn't notice anything strange about that pillar. I didn't expect it to be slightly larger from the wallpaper, or have Hyoko's body hidden inside. Next, the killer destroyed the surveillance camera that was used in the conference room. After destroying it, they mixed it with what was left of the surveillance monitor found at the crime scene. The surveillance camera the killer used was when they brought it. They made sure to destroy its monitor beforehand. They wanted to hide the fact that the camera wasn't at the crime scene. In the end, the killer transformed the crime scene into a closed room. They broke one of the drumsticks from the storage room, and however, they did this to mislead us into believing that the music venue was locked from the inside. In actuality, the reason the music venue became a closed room was because of the glue. The killer sealed the door with glue and intentionally created a closed room. With that, the killer finished tampering with the crime scene and met up with Fuyuhiko and me. They helped us force open the music venue door, despite the fact that they personally sealed it. And they made us discover not just Ibuki's body, but Hyoko's suddenly present body as well. At the time, they pretended to be surprised. Inside, they were probably relieved that their plan worked out. Isn't that right, Mikan? This crime was orchestrated by you, wasn't it?
Whoa! Now she's laughing?
It's been such a long time. This feeling, I know it well. Like the floor is collapsing, like the sky is falling down upon you. This feeling of despair!
Mikan, you... What has happened to you?
Whoa there! Before that, a moment of your time.
Yeah. Felt like a bee to me.
It seems your arguments have reached a conclusion.
Okay. So, I will end it here. This has gone on pretty dang long. So before the end, I'm gonna have a lot to talk about next time because this whole thing, I'm tired. I screwed up on that one segment that kind of derailed me, and I haven't even really fully digested the reveal. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna end here, and I'll need to think about everything that's happened because I don't even know if I can give an opinion on how I feel about this yet. Yeah, because I messed up that one part, and I couldn't even. I didn't even guess who the killer was at all. So this is, I gotta reflect for a while. So I will do that, and get back here another time to finish this. So I'll see you then. And hope you're all well. Until next time.